now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
We light the candles for Hanukkah. We remember how the Maccabees fought so all of us could be free, and so we celebrate on this Festival of the Lights. There's a joyful time every night where we illuminate the candles of Hanukkah. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking each and every one of you for coming back for the next night and joining me here in the theater. Those of you guys that have joined me for the Christmas movies know all this by now. You've heard me say it multiple times. Those of you that have only been watching since I've been doing the Hanukkah movies, maybe it's not as beaten to death as the rest of it has for my other viewers, but you should all know by now that this here is a soft reopening for Renegades Reviews, just ahead of my big relaunch that'll be happening on the first of the year. And of course, while there's no shortage of Christmas movies, each and every year, thanks to Netflix originals and films from the Lifetime and Hallmark channels, I'm sure a lot of you guys know there are very few Hanukkah movies. But I did research, and I found 8 different Hanukkah movies to discuss throughout the celebration of the Festival of Lights. So, as the sun goes down on the 5th night of Hanukkah, allow me to discuss Love Lights Hanukkah, which was released on December 12th, 2020 as a Hallmark original movie. It stars Mia Kirshner, Ben Savage, Mary Lou Henner, and Adva Sodak. I hope I pronounced that right. And it was directed by Mark Jean. And as our movie opens, Italian New Yorker Christina Rossi, played by Mia Kirshner, loves the holiday season. And she proceeds to buy huge Christmas wreaths for her Italian restaurant. You see, decorating helps her feel closer to her mother, who recently passed away. Her friend Janet, played by Brandy Alexander, works at the restaurant and is attempting to help Christina navigate the holiday season without family for the very first time. When Christina takes a DNA test in order to learn more about her biological family, as the mother that she knew adopted her, Christina is excited to find out that she is part Jewish. So via the website, she begins to look for close DNA matches and gets a message from Becky Berman, played by Adva Sodak. And again, I hope I pronounced that right. And she wants to meet up at Lenny's Jewish Deli. Becky and Christina immediately hit it off, and Christina begins to open up and talk about how she was adopted. As Christina begins to meet her new family, as Becky has 2 kids, Max and Molly, played by Atlee Smallman and Madeline Hervoin, respectively, and a hunky brother named Scott, played by David Kay. However, family friend and food critic David Singer, played by Ben Savage, interrupts the new reunion. Unfortunately for Christina, David wrote a review for her restaurant calling the food predictable. Becky invites Christina to brunch with her family because she thinks her mother would love to meet her. When Christina arrives, Ruth, played by Mary Lou Henner, welcomes her for a Hanukkah to remember. They eat lox and bagels, and they ask Christina a number of questions. And it's at this point that realizes that Christina is the daughter that she put up for adoption many years ago. Ruth lays everything out for her kids and explains what happened, how she was too young at the time to be a mother. And Christina is understandably overwhelmed by all this news, and she leaves. David runs after her to check on her while Ruth watches from the window. She doesn't even know Christina fully yet, but Ruth already loves her. David shows up at the restaurant the next day in order to check up on Christina. In return, Christina whips up some lasagna for him and asks David if it is forgettable this time around. They proceed to talk about their passion for food as an angel statue for the restaurant courtyard is delivered. The symbolism being that it's her adopted mother watching over her. Ruth and Christina meet up, and Ruth shares more information about Giorgio, played by Franco Amuri, who is Christina's biological father. You see, Ruth and Giorgio had a shotgun marriage that was quickly annulled because his family disapproved. Ruth couldn't raise the baby on her own, so she put her up for adoption. Christina forgives Ruth and even goes as far as to thank Ruth for the opportunity to have such a wonderful adoptive mother. Hanukkah traditions begin to occur, and they light the first night candle on the menorah and then proceed to look at old family albums. Christina is overjoyed to be included in the festivities and invites everyone to her place for the final night of Hanukkah. David and Christina begin to spend more and more time with one another. Now, David is not a chef, but he cooks some noodle kugel for Christina. The new family goes to an outdoor menorah lighting on the fourth night of Hanukkah, and the next day, they all build a snowman together as a family. The Italian restaurant is about to reopen as it's been going under some repairs due to leaky pipes. So Christina and David put the finishing touches on the decorations, but they end up blowing a fuse and causing a blackout for the entire block. Christina cooks a candlelight dinner for David, and they talk about wine. Now, Ruth wants to get a special gift for her new daughter, and so she asks David to help her track down Giorgio. David is actually able to locate him, and Ruth gives him a call in order to tell him about their daughter. It is now the final night of Hanukkah, and Christina practices the traditional Hanukkah blessing over and over with David because she wants to make sure she has it right. The blessing goes great, and then the family takes turns opening presents while sitting on the fireplace. All of the gifts are meaningful and priceless. Christina gets a box of framed photos with her new family and even one of Giorgio. Ruth then gives Christina the phone number for her father and tells her to go ahead and give him a call when she is ready. Now, David wants to take Christina on more dates, but she is hesitant because he is about to start traveling abroad in order to write a food book, and they don't see how the relationship could work, so she's scared to start something. After a bit of a pep talk, they come back together and confess their love for one another, and they finally kiss. On Christmas Eve, Ruth and Christina call Giorgio, and Christina talks to her father for the first time on the phone. He even goes as far as to invite her to Italy for a visit. She then cooks the Feast of the Seven Fishes and invites her family for Christmas Eve dinner at her newly reopened restaurant. Christina makes a toast, wishing everyone happy holidays, and says that her Christmas wish came true, that she wished to spend the holidays with loved ones. Our movie comes to its close. And despite being released in 2020, this one was a brand new one for me. I've said it a few times, and if I'm being honest, the only Hanukkah movie I'd ever seen prior to watching this was 8 Crazy Nights, which is how we'll end our Hanukkah holiday. I didn't think it made sense to do it beforehand. I wanted that to be how we close things out, leave the familiar for last. As a lot of you guys know, over the last few weeks, I've discussed ad nauseum the way holiday movies get held to a different standard, why that is, how they're formulaic, even more so than rom-coms, and how for me, it always comes down to one simple thing. Was I entertained? We all can admit that the plots of holiday movies are void of depth because they want you to believe in the impossible, believe in miracles. There are rare occasions when you find a holiday script that possesses depth, and those are the true gems of the season. This film doesn't possess that kind of depth, but I do believe it comes close. But it doesn't prevent it from being an enjoyable film whatsoever. There was some great chemistry between Christina and David, and it makes you root for him. The way Christy would light up every time she would speak with him, or the way she would blush, you could tell they were falling for each other long before the characters realized it. And it gives off a charm when you can see it before them. Much like mistletoe and menorahs, I loved the way that they balanced both of the holidays. While it was still way more Hanukkah-based than Christmas-based, I still feel like neither holiday's traditions were disrespected. When it comes to my rating for this film, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It gets 4 out of 5 stars for me. But enough about my thoughts. What did you guys think? What did you guys think of Love Lights Hanukkah? Have you seen it before? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that discourse, those interactions, that engagement that I'm always trying to get out of you, my loyal viewers. And of course, until next time, when we return to the theater for another brand new episode of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I have been your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking you all for tuning in and joining me. And I will catch you guys next time.